Hey guys, how are you today? Today is Sunday and it's a beautiful day in Portland, Tennessee. I think I'm live. Yes, I am. I'm going to do 2 recipes with you today, but first of all, I want to thank all of you that prayed for my daughter Megan. I truly believe when she went to the doctor, they were out of the flu shots. They were out of the flu to test if it was the flu. I think that she had a sinus infection because it lasted 2 days solid, but then she's bounced back out of it. So honestly, and I think she says the same thing, I don't think she had the flu, but I appreciate all of the prayers, and I got to spend some extra time with my babies. But today we are going to do a Parmesan crusted chicken, and then I'm going to throw in a dessert, and it's called Chocolate Cherry Jubilee, I believe. Let me look. No, it's called Chocolate Cherry Lush. Chocolate Cherry Lush. I'm going to some friends this afternoon, so I am going to take this chicken. I pre-tried it a while ago, and I promise you it has been tried and true now. It's delicious. And also the Cherry Lush is new to me, so I will take a bite of that before we take it tonight too. But let's start out. Hi, when you get on here, tell me where you're from. Tell me hi. Tell me all that good stuff. Share my videos. And I so appreciate y'all. And I'm going to try to get it where you can see what's going on. I think that's better. All right, guys. First of all, we're going to start out with some just chicken breast. And what I did was put it between my chicken breast between 2 pieces of wax paper, and I pounded them. So this is a good recipe if you have some frustration. Pound that chicken. So I pounded it, flattened it out just a little, and it makes your chicken breast go a lot further, and it also is easier to cook. I've got my oil over here. Yes, and I see people jumping on. Thank y'all so much. I've got my oil over here. It's already hot. You don't want your oil hot. You want it medium hot because you want to take time for your Parmesan and everything else to coat on there well. So let's get started. You can see I have cut, this is only 2 chicken breasts, guys. Look at that. So to pound that chicken, we're going to start out with an egg wash, and all that is an egg wash, guys, and I did 2 eggs just to give me some more. The recipe called for 1, and a little water, and just beat that up. Then I'm going to add, and have you a shallow pan like this, I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese, which is 3/4 of a cup. And guys, with recipes, when you really learn to start cooking, you'll know what you like, and you'll know if you want more cheese or if you want less. I'm adding some, I think these are called panko. I have a hard time saying that. You can use this, breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, whatever taste. And this right here is a time to add, now I do not, I've told you this before, my husband and I, we're not garlic people, so I'm not going to add garlic to this, but this would be a good time to do that. And then we're going to add some all-purpose flour, and this will just give that a little more coating. And you can tell I'm mixing this with my hands. I'm going to reach over here and grab some salt and pepper. All your seasoning, this is the time to do it. Are you having a good Sunday? Hello, Suzanne. All right, I've got that mixed up. All right, I'm going to take my chicken. I'm going to put it in the egg wash. Then I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm just going to pat it while it's wet. And you can see it coats really good. And I'm going to put that in my oil. And your oil should have a little bubbling to it, but not where it just, when you put it on there, it just makes that real loud noise. Now, how easy? Let's go back over what I'm doing. I've just took an egg wash, which is a egg that I beat. I put a little water with the egg. I did 3/4 cup Parmesan cheese, 1/4 cup of flour, and 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. And these are going, oops, I just about forgot to dip in the egg. These are going over to my friends tonight. We're having supper, and another young lady is going to bring some fish, which I am not a fish eater. If you want fish recipes, this is not the page for you. I am not a seafood person. I know that's terrible because everybody else is. See how well that goes on there? Oops, I did it again. I got 3 more. So I ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cuts out of 2 chicken breasts. Now I got those at Walmart and they were big, but I think definitely pounding them made them definitely go further. And I'm a stickler about my chicken too, and I like everything well done. So if it's chicken, I want it well done. So if it's thinner cut, it's going to get that also. I know that's crazy. Can you see the frying pan? I got 1 more. I may have to mix me a little more of this in here, which I will. Wow. Just burnt myself. Be careful. Last one. And then I'm going to clean up this mess, and while this is getting hot on both sides, I'm going to start the cherry lush, but I've got to wash my hands first and clean this little mess up. So give me just a minute to throw this in the wash. Now, while the chicken is doing its thing, let's start out another recipe, cherry lush. And I've made that easy because I've already done the bottom because you want this to cool. So, the first thing I did was 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of nuts, and 1/2 stick of butter melted. And you mix that up, flatten it in a thin layer, and bake that on 375 for 10 minutes and let it cool. First thing that we did, okay? Then I'm going to take cherry pie filling and grab a spoon. Now I bought the Duncan Hines cherry pie filling top. I want a layer of this. I love cherries. I love anything cherries. I love chocolate chip cake that we have at 5 Chefs. In fact, when people say, what's your favorite cake at 5 Chefs? I always say the cherry chocolate chip. I love chocolate covered cherries. I love cherries in my salads that are fruit salads. In fact, I will pick those. And when my husband gets milkshakes, he always gives me that cherry because I just love them. All right. Second layer's done. How easy was that? Let's go back with it. First layer is your cup of flour, nuts, sugar, and butter. Mix that up. Bake it for 375 for 10 minutes. Let it cool completely. Third layer. Have to go get it. told y'all last time I need an assistant. All right, what I've done is put cream cheese that's been softened, and I've whipped that really well. And along with that, I'm going to put a cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to do it a little at a time. I'm going to mix that in there. Has anybody ever made this before, called Cherry Lush? I'm making sure my chicken's over here frying. I may have brought it too far over and made the plug stop. All right, the rest of the powdered sugar. I just heard company. And it looks like they went away. You know why? They're afraid to get on the video. I don't blame them. And then a cup of Cool Whip. See if I can get y'all closer. I see some things happening up there. And I can't see it. There's nothing any better than cream cheese, powdered sugar, and Cool Whip. All right, we're going to put this on the cherry flavor. And you're going to mix some of your cherries in there, and that's going to be fine. Now, I have never made this before, so I hope that I can tell you that it's going to be delicious and to it, because it's nothing hard to it so far. The hardest thing that I had to do on this whole recipe was when I was trying to get the chocolate ready to go on the top. That was the hardest thing so far. I hear my chicken again. I think I pulled it and unplugged it a while ago. Has anybody tried the meatloaf yet? I've had a couple people, and I know a couple of people sent me pictures of their hearts. So if you do any of these, please send me pictures or tell me if it turned out the way you wanted it to. This is going to be one of those desserts that you can make at night, and it probably gets better the longer that it sits in the refrigerator. And they always say messy is good. Well, I'm doing a great big mess on here, so maybe it's going to be good. All right, we have 3 layers now. We have our crust layer, we have our cherry layer, and now we have our cream cheese layer. The next thing is a box of chocolate pudding. You can do 2 small boxes or 1 large box. I had the 1 large box at home. That's what I used. And I'm going to put that with 3 cups of cold milk. And I like to stick my milk in the freezer and get it really cold. And I also like to put it in a metal pan when you're doing pudding, because it'll turn it into the pudding quicker. And it just helps keep the milk cold while you're doing that. So let's make some pudding. I started to do this before, but I thought I needed to do something because it's been so easy. Have any of y'all been to our stores, the Shops at Occasions in Portland? if you live, if you want to make a day trip, it's great. But if you live 30 minutes away and you have not been, you definitely need to come see us. We have a great restaurant called Five Chefs, and then we have all these different shops you can shop at. All right, I'm gonna let that settle just a minute and get a little thicker. Someone asked me about this. These are the ones that we sell at our store. They're so neat because you put them around your neck and then you have your dish towel right there, always handy. I've always stuck it right here, but I like this so much better. But I find myself still looking right here. Chicken's just about ready to turn over for the first turn. It's usually, if you're consistent with your heat, and I wasn't because of it becoming unplugged, usually 5 minutes on each side of your chicken's enough. If you're ever worried about it, you can always use a meat tester in there and make sure it's at the right consistency there. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn this in just a minute, and then we're going to finish it baking it for 5 minutes on the broiler. So I think you'll be really pleased with that too. My pudding's not as thick as I want it yet, so let's wait just a minute. And I don't know if you can see the chicken. Can you see the chicken? Yeah. And I'm going to drain some of this grease after the chicken's done. And I'm going to put me some broccoli in there. And probably some more Parmesan cheese on top of the broccoli. Isn't that a pretty color? Can you see that? All right. You want your pudding not too thick, but thick enough so that you can pour it, and this is perfect. I'm going to pour that right over. And when it gets in the refrigerator, it will thicken up more. Okay, that's 4 layers. The last layer, guys, is we're going to put some Cool Whip on the top of that and then some chocolate shavings and put it in the refrigerator, and it's good to go. I'm not sure you can see it. I can't see. Yeah, right here. So let's finish it. You know, it's a little scary doing things that you've never cooked before in front of people because you have no idea how it's going to turn out. But I'm very pleased. I don't know how this could go wrong with everything that it's got in there. And then the last thing, and like I told you, this is the hardest thing I did in the whole recipe. And y'all may have an easier way to do this, but I took a big Hershey's bar, and I used a cheese grater. I've also used a peeler before, but I thought this would be easier. And I'm just going to sprinkle that right on the top. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until it makes it to my friend's house. But we cannot put this up even though I think being in the refrigerator would help. But we cannot, that would not be fair to you unless I take a little bite. We all agree to that? So I'm going to go right here on this corner, and I'm going to try to get some of the crust, and I did, and the cherry. And I could probably eat the whole 9 by 13. That is, that's great. And I think by 2 hours from now when I take it, I think it'll be even better. And I'm going to cover up that little thing right there, and my friends will have no idea. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Be right back. All right. Any questions? Let me get you closer. I see your glass top stove behind you. Can you use the iron skillet? I am going to try that. I asked my husband that yesterday. We have just about all the sizes of iron skillets, and I will try that because I love my stovetop, but I'm not sure if you can use it or not. So that's a good question. Looks yummy, Phyllis. It was delicious. So Taylor will have these recipes for you. Chocolate lush and Parmesan chicken. And I'm going to go back to the chicken. Right there. It's just about done. And I'm going to get my pan. And all I've done is I've taken a cookie cooler sheet and I put it in here like this, and I'm going to put my chicken on the top of this, and then I'm going to add some cheese, and that is your own preference. I got Mancino cheese, and I shredded it, and it's great. I tasted it. It's kind of got a butter feel to it. Anyway, it tastes great. And then we're going to take some bacon crumbles and put that on top of the chicken too. So, any of you people that love bacon, this will be the recipe they'll like too. So let's look at this chicken. And I'm going to show you this one right here, because can you see me put that right there? And all I'm going to do now, guys, is add some cheese on the top and some bacon right on top of the cheese. And I'm going to broil that for 5 minutes. And then you're going to have something that looks like this. And there was 5 pieces here. But to make sure that I'm telling you something that's good, there's only 4 because I ate the other one. And again, this is something that you'll want to do. So let's go over it really quick. Isn't that pretty? And I got 5 pieces out of that. So out of all 3 chicken breasts, you can see how many pieces I got out of that. But the recipe will be on there, hopefully the beginning of the week. Taylor has a small child, so it's up to her when she has time to do that, but hopefully it'll be on there at the beginning of the week. I will jump back on here. This chicken is still finishing up. You've got a great dessert now with 5 layers. No problem to any of it. And your chicken, I love it. Pound that chicken down. Cut those breasts. And I didn't tell you this, but I always like to wash my chicken after I get them out of those yucky packages. I can't stand that slimy. So I took my chicken and washed it with just water. I patted it dry, put it on a plate, and put it back in the refrigerator. That makes it perfect. It gets ready to go because it's dry when it comes back. So that's just another tip. Use garlic in your season if you want it. We're not garlic people, so you're welcome to do that. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is after I get all this chicken out of here, I'm going to drain, just leave a fourth of the grease that's in here. I'm going to put a bag of broccoli And I am going to cook that on low, and I'm going to add some just Parmesan on the top of it, salt and pepper, and a little butter, and that'll be my side dish to go with this chicken. So, you have a Parmesan chicken with bacon, you have some broccoli that you can use with the same grease, and then I've given you that great dessert. Everybody happy? Any questions? Anything you want to know? I will try to be on here once a week, like I told you. And again, thank you for praying for my daughter. I don't think it was the flu, and she doesn't either. They did not have a flu test, but they treated her for the flu. She did have a sinus infection for sure. So, I guess that is it. Let me take out a drink out of this cute cup. Blessings, I guess. Bye.